Okay, so following on from the first trending races example, wasn't entirely happy with how that went. So I thought, we'd do the next race, 6:20, Newmarket evening race. Again, expecting things to trend. A bit early at the moment. Looking at the graphs at the bottom, you can see it's a fairly weak market. Nothing's all that strong except the fourth runner, World's Greatest. So just on the right there, World's Greatest, taking a bit of money. Now it's a bit early, so I don't want to bore you. I'll jump ahead, and there we are. 4 minutes 20 to post now. So skipped out a couple of minutes there. Obviously, don't want to make you watch all the lead up because it's just boring. It's like watching paint dry. But anyway, World's Greatest took a little bit of money. You can see from the Betfair graph. Been watching the other runners again. Seem fairly weak. Not too sure what's happening with this fourth runner here, Lady Macapa, or whatever it's called. But the trade started to go in our favour actually, so it filtered a little bit out there at 9.0. But I'm hoping to see a longer term trend in this market. We've obviously given a better example than the last video, the 6:10. So I mean, it's slightly different because obviously in the 6:10 was a drifter, and we see it drift from maybe 3.35 out to around about 4, which is a fair drift. But in this one, I was hoping to see a more steady, smooth drift. Now, as I've been waffling away there, a little bit of money's coming on the favourite. There's a little bit more support for the favourite, so it's just leaving us a little bit more edgy about what we've got going on here. But I actually genuinely believe this horse is being backed. A couple of different reasons. Looking at the graph, you can obviously see that flurry of money there from where it's been at around about just below 12.5. It's come in. Now this favourite's taken a little bit more money, and I was hoping this favourite would carry on drifting, to be honest. Never can tell in the last few minutes what's going to happen, who's going to have a bet. But that aside, this favourite's obviously being a bit more supported at the moment, and it's around the period where the market becomes that little bit more solid. But interestingly, our runner is not drifting, so it's a good sign. So I'm going to hold on to this for now. And if it reaches as far as 11.0, I'll get out for 14 quid loss. I think potentially I could make a lot more than 14 quid out of this. I'd like to see it go below 9, which is going to take a little bit more money to do that, to push it in. And the whole time, I mean, to be honest, the second favourite's not bothering me at all. That's obviously weak. The favourite's taking a little bit of money now, as is Lady Macapa, which were highlighted earlier on. Things were changing a little bit there. So it may even be this ends up being less of a swing in price than the other example in the 6:10 in Newmarket. But we'll see what happens, because if there's a solid reason for something to move in the market, then it's hard for there's two. I mean, there's like the fundamental view on things. This runner is going to move for X, Y, or Z reason, but then you've got like the different level of you can't base a trade on one horse in a market when there's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other runners in the race, because you've got to factor that into it. So you might even be right on choosing your fundamental reasons for getting involved in this trade, in this steam that was potentially happening, but you can't control what happens elsewhere, so things may change, which is something that, to be honest, a lot of people struggle with trading, I think. It's all about limiting your downside, really. So without going off on a tangent there, World's Greatest is holding its place in the market, it's holding its own, which obviously shows our decisions right to a degree, although some of these others have turned. And I'm now thinking, might get out at 10 here just for the £8.88, but true to form, horses normally come in a little bit, I mean, if there is genuine support for this horse, then there's a good chance that it'll come in a few more ticks before the start. We've got like 35 seconds on the clock, and they don't look like they're going to be late off the start, really, so start thinking about getting out now, really, I think. Be just nice to see that favourite ping out a few more ticks to give us a room to get out at the price we want. So I'm going to start filtering a stake out at 9.6. And you can see that White Witch is actually getting a little bit of a move out, which is helping us hopefully get a stake out. I'm going to have to take SP because they're about to go off. But yeah, so trending races in the evening do happen, but to be honest, the second one was not as good an example as the first even.